Year one under Mike Norvell was not a good one for Florida State, but we saw flashes of potential with this Seminole team. Remember, they beat North Carolina. Big time win there. Remember the first drive of that Georgia Tech game? It looked like this team was going to be pretty good, but after that first drive, they had a weather delay and it seemed like the whole season just went downhill from there. We look ahead to 2021, though, and you have to say, it's hard to imagine this team being worse than they were last year. They only won 2 games in the ACC. They were 3-6 overall. Finished 13th out of 15 teams in the conference. Of course, we didn't have divisions last year. Notre Dame was in the ACC, but still, they were down there at near the bottom of the ACC. And you look at the roster, you look at what they have coming in for 2021. They lose some key players, but it's what they did in the transfer portal that I think is going to make a difference for them. James Blackman, he left. They lost some guys in the transfer portal as well. James Blackman is gone. Warren Thompson, he transferred out. Damian Webb at running back, he transferred out. Tamarian Terry at wide receiver, he left. So you've got some guys there on offense, but not a whole lot that they really lose offensively when you look at the guys they have coming in. Ja'Shawn Corbin will be back at running back, has a chance, I think, to be one of the top backs in the ACC this season. And they've got some young guys as well. Tofili, he'll be in there. That's a guy that could maybe make an impact for them. Corey Wren as well at running back. And then you look at the wide receivers. They do have Keyshawn Helton coming back. They do have Ontario Wilson coming back. So I think offensively, if they can get good quarterback play, you should see some improvement in year 2 under Mike Norvell. And then you look at the tight ends. Everyone's coming back there. Offensive line, they lose Andrew Baselli. He transferred out, played center for them. That's it. Everyone else is coming back. So this is an offensive line that was pretty young last year. They do have some veterans back as well. Devontae Love-Taylor, he was a senior. He's going to use that extra year of eligibility. Braven Johnson as well. So you're gonna have some veterans there, some very good offensive linemen, some young players who should be getting better. And overall, when you look at the offense, it's really more about what they have coming in than what they lose, because they really don't lose that much. Mackenzie Milton coming in at quarterback, that is going to be the key. If he can live up to his old ways, if he can play like he played at UCF when he was healthy, this team, I think, goes to another level offensively. We're talking about one of the top quarterbacks in the country when he was healthy. I mean, this is a very good player that they are bringing in. Health is going to be a big concern, obviously, and that's going to really, again, I think, determine their success on offense. And then you got Jordan Travis as well, a great runner at quarterback. If he can improve as a passer, I think it gives you another option. And even if he doesn't win the starting job, I think you might see him on the field some, possibly in the backfield, possibly as a wildcat quarterback, maybe even playing some wide receiver. We'll see what they do with that. I think Mackenzie Milton, as long as he's healthy, I think he's going to be the guy for them, though. And then you look at other guys they brought in. DJ Williams, transfer from Auburn. Go back to his freshman year when he was healthy. This was a really good running back for the Tigers. He wasn't, he had some health issues last year as well. Didn't play a ton. But when he's healthy, I think he has potential to be, at least a really, really good number 2 back to go with Ja'Shawn Corbin. So this team should be able to run the football regardless of what happens at quarterback. Mackenzie Milton, they may not want to run him a ton because of the injury, but he's a dual threat guy. He can run. You have Jordan Travis if he winds up winning the job. This team should be really good running the football this season. And they also bring in Andrew Parchment, a wide receiver from Kansas, who wasn't going to live up to his potential at Kansas. I think he will emerge as probably one of their top 3 receivers this year. So you add in some weapons. Yeah, they lose some guys, but overall, offensively, especially if that quarterback position can play better for them, Florida State's going to be really good offensively. I really believe that, and I really believe in Mike Norvell, at least on that side of the ball, because we've seen it from his time at Memphis. Now we go to the defensive side of the ball. They're going to lose some guys up front. Janaris Robinson, Kendo up front, Marvin Wilson, one of the top defensive tackles in the country. They're all gone. Corey Durden, he transferred out. That's going to be maybe a bit of an area of concern for them when you look at that defensive line. But they've got some guys. It's not like they're going to be horrible, I think, up front. Robert Cooper does come back for them, but getting a pass rush is going to be big. They also bring in Jermaine Johnson, transfer from Georgia. I think he could help them out. I think he was really more of an outside linebacker, edge rusher at Georgia, and probably going to play more of just, defensive end here at Florida State. So, you got some guys coming in, not to mention Kyer Thomas, from South Carolina, a guy that started in the SEC, another guy that I think can help them out. We'll see. Again, I think that's going to be an area of concern. And really, it's overall the defense. That's going to determine how good Florida State's going to be. If their defense can play like they did against North Carolina last year, with the offense that they're going to have, this team could be very dangerous. If they struggle defensively, it's probably not going to be a great year for them. You look at the linebackers, everyone is coming back. They do not lose a single linebacker from last year's team, so that is great news there as well. Emmett Rice will be back. Steven Dix will be back. You got Amari Gaynor back. So they're going to be in great shape at linebacker. I think that'll be a strength of this team on defense, at least experience-wise. And then you look at the secondary. That's another area where you're a little bit concerned. Asante Samuel is gone. He is off to the NFL. Nasruddin also is gone. They also lost Lars Woodby and Woody, 2 safeties. So you lose 3 safeties from the secondary, 2 to transfer, 1 to the NFL. That's a lot to replace. I mean, that really is a lot to replace. They do have Jamie Robinson coming in from South Carolina, another guy that has started in the SEC. And then at corner, you've got McClellan, a cornerback from Arkansas who has experience starting in the SEC. So I really like the transfers that they brought in. They didn't bring in guys that were backups and not going to see the field at their old team. We're talking about guys that have started in the SEC. And I think these guys are going to make a big impact for Florida State, and a big reason why I think this team has a chance to make a big jump in 2021. But yeah, that secondary and that defensive line, that's going to be what we're going to have to watch for Florida State. If they can get good production out of those 2 areas with the offense that they're going to have, I think Florida State, like I said, could be a very dangerous team. But that's a big question. Will that be the case? We really don't know. But based off of what we saw last year and last year's team, I think undoubtedly this Florida State team will be better in 2021. I don't think there's really any question about that, unless the transfers come in and the chemistry is just not there, or they have injuries. You know, anything can happen. But looking at this roster from last year to this year, yes, you've got some pretty big losses, some pretty big holes to fill on defense. But because of this offense and how good I think it's going to be, and I really think they're going to take that next step offensively with Mackenzie Milton at quarterback. Because of that, I think this team has a chance to be much better in 2021. And if they can get enough from the defense, I think you're talking about a team that could finish number 2 in the Atlantic Division in the ACC. The defense struggles. Maybe we don't see this team finish that high. But without question, I think Florida State will be better than they were in 2020. I think they will be better in 2021.